your Burn Me crew, and we wanted to introduce ourselves. So I'm Hannah.
I'm Christy.
I'm Joy.
And I'm Jen.
We wanted to express our reasonings why we started this blog. We kind of wanted to share our story with you and how it all came about. So I'll start with me. We do all go to the same church, and in January our church always does a seek season where we fast and we seek God for usually all of January, but I think a lot of us actually carried on the fasting well past January. We just fasted different things. We didn't all just fast the same thing. We all fasted different things, but it was all things that God wanted us to. So I'd say in the beginning of January, I was praying that what kind of plan God wanted for ministry for myself. And I'd led Bible studies, I'd led women's groups, but something was burning in me more than just that. Like, God kept pouring in me that I would reach a lot of women, but I couldn't understand how I'd reach a lot of women in a smaller group atmosphere. So I was praying one day, and God had asked me to start a blog. I laughed because I had no clue how to start a blog. I was like, I don't know how to do blog. No thanks. I don't. That's funny, God. And but I was like, all right, God is a God of big things, and I'm gonna trust in Him. So I reached out to Jen, and Jen and I went out for coffee, and we're both very busy moms. We both have 4 kids, and we were like, let's just get together for coffee, and just you and I, let's just share our dreams together. So we met together and shared our dreams, and our spiritual giftings are a lot of very the same, but very different too. Mm-hmm. And we just wanted to, I wanted to bounce ideas off of somebody that listens and gives me good, criticism, and she can say an idea and she'll be like, yeah, you could do this and you could do that. So I bounced some crazy ideas off on her. And what do you think?
We had a very good chat that day. She expressed to me about the interest of doing the blog, and that is something that I have always wanted to do, kind of secretly, but you always have those fears of, I could never do that. I can't write that good. I don't know anything about website design. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So there's always that fear there, and I thought, okay, all right, maybe we could kind of start this slow and together and kind of see where God takes us, because I know that's something that God's put in me to kind of reach out more, to get outside my comfort zone. So we just kind of sat on it for a little bit and prayed about it, and I journaled a lot about it. God, is this what you want for me? Do I even have anything to say? So
and you have a passion for writing.
I do have a passion for writing, yes.
And you started writing several things, but it was just in a notebook.
Yep. Just
to yourself.
Yep, just started, as topics came to me, I just started kind of jotting them down, and okay, I'll come back to that later, and yeah,
So we jumped from our creative coffee date that we thought was just hanging out, catching up, encouraging each other. I went from that, and we started dreaming, and we were so scared because we had no clue what we were even dreaming about. But we were like, okay, there's a reason why God put Jen in my life. We're gonna do this somehow. So then we both were like, all right, God, we need somebody else. I don't want just a blog with myself or just a couple of us. I need somebody else that needs to be involved. So then I was praying about it, and God kept saying, you need to meet with Christy. Christy has something to tell you. You need to meet with Christy. I was like, okay. And we were both, this was like through the holidays. We had, we both have crazy busy lives, and we didn't get the chance to catch up for a while. So I went up to her church one day, and I said, we need to hang out. And she just was like, okay. I was like, no, like soon. And she's like, okay, let's, I was like, how about tomorrow, like Monday? And she was kind of like, oh, okay, tomorrow I think works. So I was like, yeah, come over tomorrow. So she came over, and she had like no clue that I was kind of brewing something inside of me. I was going to ask her, like, what's her passions and what. And I was going to literally just ask her, why did God ask me to like, ask you about this blog or whatever. And she has an interesting story part of that.
So the whole month of January, during our fasting and praying, on January 1st, God gave me a word for Hannah. And Hannah had been in a little bit of valley, and I knew she was going through some stuff, and I was like, I don't want to give her this word because I don't want to make her feel bad or feel worse, or just let her work through it and everything will be fine. So I kept putting it off, and he kept pushing it on me. You need to talk to Hannah. You need to talk to Hannah. So then Hannah, at the end of January, beginning of February, came up to me, let's get together. Okay. So then I was driving to Hannah's house, and I was praying about it, and I made a deal with God. Okay, if Hannah brings this situation up, I'll give her the word. But if not, I'm not saying anything. And then the next thought was, okay, God, so what is it that you want me to do? I feel like I'm supposed to do something ministry-wise other than just serving at my church. Something more. What is it? What is it? And the first thought I had was start a blog. And I was like, what? That's dumb. I don't know how to do a blog. I'm not computer savvy. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm not very good at writing. No, that's not what it is. And so then I just went on my merry way, got to Hannah's house. We had coffee, we were sitting there, and she brought up the valley situation, and I was like, okay. So then I told her what God told me to tell her and gave her the scripture, and then, of course, all the waterworks were starting between us, and we're like, oh my gosh. And then she goes, well, I have something else to tell you. And so she brought up the blog, and she was talking to me about it, and I'm sitting there like, okay, God, I get it. So I go, I have something else to tell you. On the way over here, God told me that I need to start a blog. And I pushed it to the side because I don't know anything about that stuff. I wouldn't even know where to start. So then we started talking and dreaming and doing the whole what if and getting all crazy with our Hannah and I both like to just jump off the bridge without even know what's in the water below.
These two keep us safe.
Yeah. So that's where we were at that point, like on the edge of the bridge, ready to jump. And that's just how it started for the three of us. So,
and then we were praying, like, okay, I know that Jen loves writing. Christy's super creative, and she has a real goofy side that can really make Jen and I feel more goofy than Jen and I can tend to be more serious. So she brings in joy and laughter and a sense of humor to us. And we could see where this is coming together, but we were like, we need somebody super creative that's probably super great at editing, and maybe a couple that's good at like media, and we know a couple that's good at all of that.
And I really felt like there was one more piece. Like as we started talking, I felt like piece 1, piece 2, piece 3. There was another piece, is how I felt, that was missing.
Well, and to me, I just kept thinking, Joy would be perfect for this. Joy would be perfect. We need Joy.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we need another person. It was, we need Joy. We don't need someone else. We need Joy.
And then Hannah said it, and I felt the same way. Yep, Joy's the one that's missing.
Yep. So then we had a meeting, just the three of us, just to kind of talk and dream a little bit. And then we kept saying, we need Joy. We need Joy. And I was like, okay, good. Because I don't want just to, like, I wanted them to feel it too, just as much as I was feeling it. So we did. We talked with Joy, and she was like,
No, I remember I was over for coffee one day, and we were talking, and you were like, I have something to talk to you about.
And she's like, oh my gosh, what?
Here we go.
And you mentioned the blog, and you said you wanted me to be a part of it, to do my creative doodling, I guess.
Yeah.
I like to
She's
do
a
all those
professional
things.
creative doodler.
Yeah, and I have fun with doing all that stuff, and I've had just a collection of scriptures and different phrases and just drawings and writing and stuff like that, and I just never had a use for it anywhere. I just always liked to do it. So when she mentioned the blog and adding that creative touch to it, then I was like, that's what my stuff is supposed to be used for. It's not just going to sit in this book and do nothing. It's meant to be shared with people.
But for a while, she didn't think it really mattered.
Yeah. So when you
It
asked
does.
me, I was like, are you just asking me because I'm your best friend? You don't want me to feel left out?
No.
And
No.
it definitely wasn't
No.
that when the other girls agreed on it too. So that was an honor to be asked by them to do that. And then you also mentioned me editing. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. I'm okay at editing.
She found that she actually really enjoyed it a lot.
It's hard.
She's
But
not just a great editor; she's a great writer too, and she
Yes.
just doesn't utilize that as much.
yeah,
don't
I
think
said
it's
I
quite
was
her
not.
passion, but
I
she's
was
very
like,
good.
I'm never
Yep.
gonna write. I'll edit and be behind the scenes.
That's what she
and,
said. But then during her Facebook break, she comes to all three of us and she's like, I'm gonna write my first blog, kind of like nonchalant, kind of like I'm gonna write my first
Like,
blog.
I think I'm supposed to do this.
And then we were like, whatever. You said you were gonna write. She's like, I know I said, but it's just gonna be my only one writing. So the other day, she actually has been coming up with other ideas to write. So she tells me like, I'm gonna write some more. I'm like, okay. So yeah. So we used Joy's doodling and her editing, and
My Facebook break actually was, I think, also meant to be all a part of this because I wasn't focusing all this time on Facebook, that I had time to get into different scriptures and do that stuff in place of Facebook time.
Yeah, and hear God more because you're not
Oh,
distracted,
for sure.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it put me in a totally different spot for that.
so that's kind of how the four of us came together. And then we brought the idea to Joy's husband, Brandon. And we were like, okay, well, he's extremely creative, good at media and putting all this stuff together.
Good at everything.
We actually, it was kind of funny. We actually wanted to,
Yeah.
we wanted to like not burden him. So at first we started a blog on our own, and it kind of failed. So he left. We didn't like post it or anything, but we started a whatever, and he was like, "Oh,
Here, look at this, Brandon."
that's
He's like,
not how you do it." We're like, okay.
nicely telling us this is awful.
So he's like, I don't mind. I think he was more like, no, just give it to me. I'll
Just
do
let
it.
me do it.
Let me.
He really
But we
likes
wouldn't
that.
been
good
able
at
to
it.
do half of what we were able to do and express what we wanted without all of his help. So
And the great part about Brandon is he's been really encouraging to all of us and bringing out our gifts and how to do that best through social media. So he's been really instrumental in getting this off the ground.
And teaching us too things that we need to know. So maybe eventually, probably not though. We can do it on our own. But I don't know.
I will want to add though, I mean, this doesn't come with not just the support of the four of us and Brandon's media help. This came with a lot of support from our own husbands too,
Yes.
and our family. Our kids understanding when we needed to put some time together to work on our blog, and it came with a lot of work. And our husbands, all of them, have been very, very supportive of our dream. We have no clue where this is going to go, and we don't know how many people we're even reaching, but we know that we're at least reaching one other person, and that's all that matters to us. Is that if this has encouraged you in any way, if our videos, our journaling, our articles in any way has encouraged you, share it, send it, copy the link and text it to a friend that you know is struggling, and whatever article that can really help, send that to a friend, share it, comment on our Facebook page.
Let us know if we can pray for you in any way.
Yes. But I guess our main thing we wanted to share is that if God is asking you to do something out of your box, use us as an example of stepping out, because this has not been easy, and this has been so scary for every one of us.
Yep.
And step out. So spend some time fasting and seeking God, and He'll give you just the right direction of where He wants you to go in ministry. And if it sounds like a crazy idea, it probably came from God to be a crazy idea.
Yeah. If it sounds like something you would never think of on your own, and you're afraid and you feel like you're not qualified, it's probably from God telling you, just go ahead and do it and I will supply the rest.
Yeah, because we are living proof that God doesn't call the equipped; He equips the called.
Yep.
Yeah, we all said, like, no way, we're not, this
Yeah.
is
This is-
scary.
we
We're not
can't
good
do
enough for
this.
this.
Yeah, I mean, we still have those thoughts all
Yes.
the time. We're always
Yes.
being attacked that way.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's still scary.
Yeah, and you will be attacked by the enemy because he does not like people that are doing God's work. Together especially. He'll try to separate you. He'll try to discourage you. But just keep your eyes focused on God. That's what we've all been trying to do. And sharing our struggles with each other. We can't isolate ourselves. We have to let each other know
Yeah.
what page we're on, and so we can help each other.
Yes. So I would say, whatever dream you're dreaming, line yourself up with somebody else that can help you dream that with you, and that can help encourage you and pray with you, and give you any kind of direction or constructive criticism on what you can go with that. But line yourself up with people that are going to strengthen you and sharpen you, and always direct you back to God.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have anything else to say to anybody?
Nope, that's good.
But thank you for listening in.
Thank
we just
you.
wanted
Thanks,
to share
guys.
our story and let you be a part of it. So thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.